primi ambienti. Il Series chiaramente anche in virtù del grande caldo, tanto di questa giornata. E allora ne approfittiamo anche a beneficio del pubblico presente per ricordarvi l'appuntamento alle ore 14 con l'avvio della Green Walk. Sarà l'opportunità di poter entrare in via di partenza nelle fasi che procederanno il via di gara 2 del campionato EuroNASCAR Pro, per cui l'appuntamento è per il pubblico e la conseguente green wall all'altezza del cancello giallo vicino alla direzione gara in fondo al fallo, in pratica alle spalle del podio. Quindi approfittate, festeggiamo, green wall a pochi minuti, lasciate aperti alle ore 14 con il ritrovo presso il cancello giallo in fondo al fallo per le spalle del podio. Da ieri c'è un bagno di folla in questa gara, ringraziamo lo staff dell'autodromo di Vallelunga per l'aggiornamento sul programma. Il via della gara alle ore 14:40 per quanto riguarda l'EuroNASCAR Pro. Quindi le ore 14:40, nuovo orario per il via dell'EuroNASCAR Pro. Siamo pronti con la nostra temporada in compagnia del vincitore, Stefano Petroni, a voi.
U Engleskoj su ostavili tu regulativu za mobitele kao da jesu još uvijek i tako će i ostati. Ne znam, nisam se možda i... Kako je legalno sviđa? Evo, ima strah. Ma nisam,
Okay, so for the next time, you just need one camera guy, right?
When you come to Kvarner, treat yourself to an experience you will remember. Enjoy the luxurious ambience. Experience superior service. Indulge in endless pleasures. The pearl of the tourism offer in the pearl of the Adriatic. Liburnia, Hotels and Villas.
Welcome to the Autodromo Vallelunga, where the EuroNASCAR Pro category is currently on the starting grid, ready for racing action. Had a slight delay to the program, largely because of the big incident you may have seen in EuroNASCAR 2 earlier on this morning. Everyone okay, of course. 34 degrees Celsius here in the Rome sunshine, the American Festival of Rome. Rome just south of this circuit. As you see there, we have a very interesting pole sitter for this 18-lap race. It's Paul Dufresne in his first weekend within EuroNASCAR Pro on pole position for this race. He took his first win in EuroNASCAR 2 just earlier this morning in a safety car disrupted race. Can he become what I believe would be the first ever driver to win his first EuroNASCAR 2 and EuroNASCAR Pro race in the first day? To the best of my knowledge, that has never been done before. And wouldn't that be an achievement? As you can see, the fans are making their way out onto the circuit at the moment. You can see how empty the grandstand is as of now, and that's because they're all spilling out onto the tarmac right now, getting a chance to meet some of the drivers as well as some of the EuroNASCAR 2 competitors as well from earlier on today. I'm sure the 54 car with Alberto Nasca and Gianmarco Ercoli in situ will be a very, very busy part of the grid. But Paul Dufresne, the newest race winner in EuroNASCAR 2, has the opportunity to match his feat again from pole position in EuroNASCAR Pro after his EuroNASCAR 2 win earlier. And you see the fans excitedly waiting for the opportunity to get up close with the cars. Vittorio Gorelli, another Italian racer, he lines up on the front row of the grid alongside the Frenchman Paul Dufresne. Gianmarco Ercoli, who took the win yesterday, he will line up from third on the grid alongside Liam Hasemans. So Liam Hasemans in the number 50 will line up fourth on the grid. And here come the fans. There's a shot and a half as they all come and spill towards the cars. And oh look, there's a Wild Andre in there as well. You can see the hats. I think I can see Gianluca as well in their very, very American hats. Lucas Lasser, who led the championship coming out of Valencia at the start of the season, he'll line up fifth on the grid today. As anticipated, a lot of attention focused on Jimmy Ercoli. Jimmy Jet, as the fan club sign calls him here on the spectator banks. After his win yesterday, after his 2 wins at Brands Hatch, he is a championship leader, and he leads the championship in ever more convincing fashion as well. Now 11 points clear of Lucas Lasser in the championship. Gianmarco Ercoli on 177. Lucas Lasser on 166. Anthony Kumpen currently third in the title race, ahead of Gorelli and Goossens, who are tied for fourth position at the moment. But Gianmarco Ercoli, with that championship lead that's only growing at the moment, can he continue to extend the championship lead? Well, certainly, with both the parties ahead of him not really being direct title rivals at the moment, that could be a very beneficial weekend for him. He could still, from third, if he finishes where he starts, he could still very much increase his championship lead. Ulysse Delso, the junior trophy points leader, and Fabrizio Armetta leading in Challenger, both drivers with promising results yesterday. Del So will be starting this race from 6th on the grid, the number 14 from Speedhouse, so he's joining his team boss on row 3. However, not quite as promising of a starting position for our Challenger Trophy leader. There is Ariana Castoli, who drives in EuroNASCAR 2, taking some photos with the fans. Very popular driver, another of the Italian brigade, of course. See here thousands of fans flocking onto this grid for the opportunity to get up close and personal with the world of EuroNASCAR. 72 car there in the hands of Vittorio Garelli. Garelli is a former champion in EuroNASCAR 2, of course, a former champion in MotoGP, the former Formula 2 equivalent single-seater series. Pro, meanwhile, very much stepping up in the world in the last few months. His switch to RDV competition was a big step. I'm sure he, after his win earlier today, will be popular with the fans as well. Thousands of them here on the circuit at the moment. We have the opportunity to head down to the Campagnano di Roma, the local town just a few kilometres south of the circuit, 2 or 3 days ago. It was Thursday evening for a parade in the piazza, which was a huge success, and another great way to bring the racing closer to the fans, which is really the motif of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. You see some shots from the parade on Thursday. Some of the locals being made aware that EuroNASCAR was in town. I'm sure plenty of the locals saw these cars in the streets and went, okay, I think we need to go to the track this weekend. Lots of drivers taking the time to chat with fans, signing autographs, and promoting the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, which they do again now here at the circuit. Thousands flocking to meet their heroes, and no surprises, Paul Dupro on pole position is a popular ticket. Let me take a selfie. And I believe Paul is going to be spoken to by Andre in a minute. If we've got Andre live already, should we go down to him?
Check, check, check.
We have you.
All right, I'm here with Paul Dufro. Very, very quickly, you're starting from pole after winning your first EuroNASCAR 2 race. It must be an amazing feeling, right?
Yeah, of course. I wasn't expecting me to be in the first position in pro, but we are here and we have to fight for the win now.
All right, congratulations again, and yeah, enjoy this time.
Thank you.
Back to you, Adam.
Yes, he's got a lot on his plate at the moment there, hasn't he? Not just a pole sitter in his first weekend in EuroNASCAR, but he's currently fulfilling 100,000 autographs all at once. Slight exaggeration, but you get the point. Martin Dubek's number 7 car there. Don't see Martin. I think he may have taken a brief relief before going racing. There will be a few vacant slots on the grid, unfortunately. Some of the drivers not able to take the start. That includes a few cars that were damaged in EuroNASCAR 2 earlier, unfortunately. There was a big shunt in EuroNASCAR 2. That's the on the first lap, and then subsequent incidents as well. Much of the race held under the safety car and the full course yellow, but we'll talk about that again in a minute because Andre has managed to catch the pole sitter.
Yeah, thank you so much, Adam. It was not easy to come here with all the fans around. Gianmarco, how are you feeling?
Yeah, the feeling is very good. It's a big emotion to have all this fun here in the home race. So I think today is more hard than yesterday. So it's possible to arrive to the podium, but the important is who's the head for the championship, because the points now are much important than the position. It's important to arrive to the finish, and it's important to arrive with a good point. So I try to win because I have a good speed, but it's possible don't force very hard for win. So I study the strategy lap by lap.
All right, thank you so much. Grazie mille and enjoy.
See you.
There you go, Gianmarco Ercoli. Like I said, he's pole sitter. Of course, he starts third behind Dufresne on pole, but Gianmarco Ercoli from the second row of the grid could well be a contender for victory here. Some of the names that won't be taking the start: Advait Dioda in the #1 car. Max Mason had a big crash earlier on in EuroNASCAR 2. Neo Lambert in the #40 won't be taking the start for Speedhouse, and Alina Leubneger's #94 car. And Nicholas Strickler had a big incident to end the race earlier on. He's okay, but the cars are not in a few cases. At least 3 non-starts that we know of. There could be a couple more as well. There's been a weekend of attrition so far in the, or at least a day of attrition on the Sunday here at the American Festival of Rome. We'll see if this carries over into the EuroNASCAR Pro race. You see, we're just over half an hour away from the countdown commands being given. And spread across the entire grid right now. One of the most valuable parts of coming to the EuroNASCAR is getting up close and personal, as Andre is doing. Let's go back down to Andre.
Thank you so much, Adam. I'm here with Luca Lasser. It seems like you have some issues to stay cool, right?
Yeah, we need to just to save each degree temp, you know, because it will be a long race with a lot of temperature, the high temperature on board. Yesterday it was close to 70, so yeah, for during 40 minutes it will be hard.
My feet are burning on the asphalt already with the normal shoes I have on right now. But how physical is it to wrestle those cars around the track with those temperatures? How fit do you need to be as an athlete here?
Well, I live in southwest in France with the sun and the beach, so I'm the time for me is not a clearly a problem. I like when it's hot. For sure, it will be like a big effort for all the drivers, but we need to, we are professional and we need to be ready for this condition.
Any strategies for this race to go onto the podium?
No, the unique strategy for me is to score points and to try to find each opportunity to score the maximum. So I think, yes, for sure, it's. I will do the best. I will do the best, and we will see which place will be.
All right, thank you so much. The Swiss Army Knife of Speedhouse, owner, engineer, driver of Speedhouse. Thank you so much, Luca Lasser.
Thank you so much. We'll see. Thank you.
He doesn't look like he's about to get into a race car, does he? He looks like he is down with the beach in the sun in southwestern France. I assume that from the waist down he's got his Nomex on, but looks like he is enjoying the sunshine with the rest of the fans at the moment. Lucas Lasser who took a win in the second race at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo, the season opening weekend. And he will be keen to score more points. Consistency has been his strong suit so far. He didn't qualify particularly well yesterday, but worked his way back up into the top 5. Looking to maybe score a podium from a strong starting position in this race. Let's go down to another driver who's looking to go well, Ulysse Delceau with Andre.
Thank you so much. I'm here with Ulysse Delceau. It seems like you really found a great family by joining Speedhouse, right?
Yes, it's amazing jump for NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, and it's a great event here in Vallelunga, and yes, it's a great pleasure for me.
Any strategies for the race to go to the podium? Any special things?
I hope so, but for me it's to take the points, and this is my last year in the Junior Trophy, and I hope to make a good result in this championship, and we will see for today. And like Luca said, I will send the opportunity, and I will take the maximum points for the race and for the championship.
Merci beaucoup, good luck. And it seems like at Speedhouse, the big picture is more important than scoring a single good result. Back to you, Adam.
Yes, Lucas Lasser instilling that in the entire team by the sounds of it, and that is a wise way of doing things. That's how you win championships. After all, championships have been won in motorsport with no race victories. We can ask Anthony Kumban about that. He's taken a win in the EuroNASCAR 2 Championship with just a single victory. It's very much possible to just keep your nose clean and take the title in the process. The performance is ongoing here at the American Festival of Rome. I don't envy those performers. Knees on the hot tarmac in these conditions. When you look inside the number 54 car, you see they've screened off the windshield at the moment to try and stop any excess heat getting into the car's cockpit. It's going to be warm enough once the engine is fired in just over 25 minutes anyway. There is of course heat shielding between the engine and the cockpit, but there's only so much that you can do to keep that heat away in these conditions. There's the helmet of Liam Hasemans, still branded with Loris's name. One day he'll get his own name on the helmet. He's won the EuroNASCAR 2 Championship. I think he has to win EuroNASCAR Pro before he's given his own helmet. Hasemans, one of the most impressive youngsters on the grid. Very popular young driver as well. One of those characters that his bubbly personality kind of brings people in, draws people in. And he has been very much very impressive both on and off circuit in the EuroNASCAR series so far. Gasoli along with Ulysse Delceau there, still signing the autographs. You need a strong pen in the advance of a race as a EuroNASCAR driver. There is Liam Hasemans, staying in the shade. Looks like he's wearing his cool vest at the moment. He was saying that in the race, the cool vest doesn't really do much for you. After about 10 or 15 minutes, it makes it warmer rather than cooler. That's good at first, but it only gets worse. There's the 56 car, and there is Mark Goossens. The Goose, who still sits in the top 5 in the championship, has been chipping away at his results just by staying tidy. Vladimir Osiortsis will be looking to stay tidy in this race. Let's go down to Andre with him.
Thank you so much, Adam. How's it going? It's really exhausting at the moment, right?
Yeah, even more today, you know. Personally, we are suffering from some high water and oil temperature from Friday. So, I mean, it's the first race that we cannot find a solution for it. But we keep going. I mean, we are here to survive, to play clean, and yes, the best to win.
Maybe you can explain me, with the heat like this, what are the kinds of setup changes you do to the car? Where are the areas you try to find something?
Yeah, I mean, from now and on, I mean, in the races, it's everything based on the temperature. To find the setup in such heat, it was difficult for us, and I think for most of the teams, because doing 3 laps quickly in qualifying is another story, and doing half an hour of race, it's another story. So I think we are in a good way as a team. I mean, we are scoring good points, but I am ready to fight more. Unfortunately, in EuroNASCAR 2, things didn't go as I wanted, but I'm still very happy that at least we survive, and we keep going on for the rest of the season.
All right, thank you so much. I will now leave you to find some shadow.
Yeah, sure. Ciao.
Back to you, Adam.
Still the EuroNASCAR 2 points leader, Vladimir Osiortsis. Didn't manage to continue his streak, his 100% win record that he held coming out of Brands Hatch. One podium and 2 top 5s for Vladimir Osiortsis.
Live interview.
And the number 48 there, Jack Davidson, EuroNASCAR 2 driver, he got a podium in the rookie trophy a little earlier on within EuroNASCAR 2, and alongside him as the EuroNASCAR Pro entrant in the number 48, we have another new member in the form of Tuomas Pontinen, who runs in the junior trophy here. Interesting to hear that Ulysse Delceau is about to be upgraded from junior trophy, of course. It looks like, though, Andre is there with an interviewee, so let's go down to him and Liam Hasemans.
Thank you so much, Adam. To be honest, is this helping?
Yes, actually no, a bit. Like for before the race, it cools you a bit down, but yeah, bro, it's so hot. Like there's no other option. You have to put something on, like to keep a bit cool before the race. I think it's like in the car maybe like 60 degrees or something. So yeah, it's gonna be tougher than yesterday, that's for sure.
What about the setup and the car feeling? Do you think you improved from yesterday and have a chance to fight for a podium finish?
Yeah, I think yesterday we had the big brake issues and now we changed it, so hopefully it works. We just have to see. It works for a few laps, but we have to see if it lasts for the whole race. But I think we're better prepared.
All right, the fans are waiting for getting autographs and photos, so I leave you alone now. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, guys.
Back to you, Adam.
Popular man is Liam Hasemans, as Andre has to lean across the bonnet to try and stay out of everybody's way. Liam, talking there about the setup, we've heard a little bit about how the setup changes. Of course, you want as much air going into the engine as possible in these conditions, so the radiators will be as free to breathe as possible. Sometimes you block off some of the radiator to try and get some more power out of the engine, but not in these conditions. You need as much air into the radiator as possible. I imagine also lower tire pressures as well in these conditions too, because they are going to go up massively against the hot track surface as the race goes on. 19 minutes and change until the start of this race, or at least until the countdown command is given. There's Claudio Remigio Capelli. He's been busy today. He's raced in EuroNASCAR 2. He's just raced in EuroLegend Trophy as well, in the EuroLegend Cup, I should say. And he'll be back in his little legend car at the end of the day as well. So Claudio Remigio Capelli getting a shift in this weekend. Anna continuing to sign her autographs. And it's great to see female drivers on the grid. There is the Lady Trophy within EuroNASCAR 2. She's the only competitor in that at the moment. Of course, we do have Alina Leubnegger in EuroNASCAR Pro. However, sadly, she has been withdrawn from this race after huge damage to the Racing Fuel Motorsport number 94, Nicholas Strickler, in a big accident with the number 9 of Valeria Marzi in the earlier race here for EuroNASCAR 2. Looks like the fans might be starting to vacate and head back towards the grandstand here at trackside, which I'm sure is going to fill up once again in the next few minutes. Everyone gets ready to experience this final NASCAR Whelen Euro Series race of the weekend. Very much the main event race, the EuroNASCAR Pro category. Some serious names up and down the grid. There's one of them, Anthony Kumpen, the number 24 PK Car Sport machine. There's another one in the form of Mark Goossens, the hugely experienced Belgian racer of over 30 years. Vladimir Osiortsis, one of the many young, hard-charging racing drivers that is making a name for themselves within EuroNASCAR competition. There is Osiortsis, who will have lots of fans from his native Cyprus tuning in. The speedy Cypriot, the Super Cypriot, as he becomes on the podium. He wears his flag as if it were a cape whenever he takes a podium finish. Fans vacating already. I suspect that we might get this start command a little earlier than the timer suggests because of the delays in the schedule. But let's go down to Ariane Casoli with Andre Viegold.
Thank you so much, Adam. You are not my hero because you're done with racing. You could have changed and enjoy the day, find some cool space, but you're still in racing suit, signing autograph.
Obviously, we have to wear the racing suit because we are at the racetrack and all the people want to see us with the racing suit. There's nothing better than this crowd coming to visit us, making a picture together and having fun, and it's amazing. It's a really great feeling here. Hot weather, a little bit, but it was fun. I survived race 2 also, and this is a great goal today.
All right, thank you so much, grazie mille. Molto caldo, I think Italians would say about
caldo, yes.
Molto caldo, right.
Lesson number 3.
After cooking pasta.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Go back to Adam.
Andre Viegold, future pasta chef, excellent. We are expecting the driver start your engines command by the Grand Marshal at 14:39, so that should be in line with the command countdown on screen. But the fans already vacating, I think a lot of them wanting to get up to the grandstand to see the racing action from the very beginning. And Gianmarco Ercoli will be the name on many lips from third on that grid, but Paul Dufresne could have one of the greatest stories really in EuroNASCAR history if he can fight for a victory here today. It's not very often, if ever, that you see someone take their first win in EuroNASCAR 2 and then challenge in EuroNASCAR Pro. Let's go back down though to Andre.
Thank you so much. I'm here with Sebastian Blekemon, unfortunately not racing today, but you have one of your cars. You're one of the masterminds behind Team Blekemon. You have one of your cars here in the front row. So you're happy?
Yeah, of course. I'm team manager and I'm driver, and Vittorio on the first row, so that's really good to see. And I think he has a good chance to win because he was a bit, well, I was driving so I couldn't see his race, but he was a bit unfortunate yesterday. And I think the pace was there, so hopefully he takes the win. And he's going to dedicate it to me because I'm not driving today because of the crashes earlier before.
What about the heat and the exhaustion of the driver? From a driver's perspective, you have so many races in your career. How do you cope with the heat inside the car?
Well, I saw you walking. You had difficulties walking on the tarmac, on the surface. It's so hot. It's incredible, and it's really tough for the guys. And of course, they are well trained, but even then, it's not easy to stay cool or stay cool in your mind, and then that's one of the most important things to keep focused. And it's not easy, but I'm sure most of the guys, the Pro Series, can manage that.
All right, thank you so much, dankjewel, and we go back to Adam.
Shame to hear then that Sebastian Blekemon isn't able to take the start in the number 69 car. It was Melvin de Groot in the car in EuroNASCAR 2. He was one of 6 drivers heavily involved with a first lap collision in EuroNASCAR 2, and it seems as if the 69 car is too damaged to take the start. So Sebastian Blekemon relegated to spectator, and that really relegates him from title contention as well. It was already looking like a long shot for the experienced Dutchman, who has had a lot of pace this year, but negative amounts of luck. 44 points back coming into this race for Sebastian Blekemon. There are drop scores to account for at the end of regular season before the finals at Zandvoort, of course. But with every passing race that he has to sit on the sidelines or something goes wrong, it becomes a longer shot for Sebastian Bleekemolen. Liam Hasemans will be very keen to get some good points on the board in this race as well. He came into this weekend 11th in the championship standings, which was rather an undermatch compared to his level of performance so far. Of course, he took a win at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo, bounced back after a difficult Brands Hatch with a good result here earlier in the weekend. He now runs 8th in the championship, 40 back from Jimmy Jett, Gianmarco Ercoli. 12 minutes and 15 seconds until the countdown command. Here you see the car that will lead them on the formation lap. The Corvette Z06 with some aftermarket aero appendages. The C7 generation Corvette, the last of the front-engined cars, of course. The new C8 is mid-engined. You see the safety car. The number 50 of Liam Hasemans is there as well. Liam still taking on fluids, I think trying to be as hydrated as possible before taking the start of this race. As everyone will be. It's going to be a challenge across this 18 laps. One thing I'd be interested to know is whether it's better for the race to go longer under safety car, so it's less physically exertive, or whether the extra time in the car makes it even worse. I would think that green flag running all the way through would be more physically exerting, but of course you're still in the cockpit and still potentially cooking from the engine temperature under safety car conditions, so that would be an interesting thought. You see there some of the sponsor decals on that number 3 car, including TJ Titanium Jewelers. They will offer a piece to the fastest driver of the weekend at the end of this race on the podium ceremonies. Oh, and the smoke bombs are out in force for Jimmy Jett. Oh dear, usually smoke bombs are associated with Dutch orange these days. I would certainly associate them with Italian Serie A football. And sure enough, the smoke bombs have made their way to Autodromo Vallelunga. Coming up on 2:30 local time. We're not far away from going racing here, with less than 10 minutes until this race gets underway. The fans are making their way back to the grandstands at the moment. And in under 10 minutes, we will hear the command to start engines here at the American Festival of Rome for the final time in 2023. Of course, there is a little bit of a break in the schedule after this weekend. The next event in the calendar after today will be a trip to Most, which has been a very exciting facility for EuroNASCAR. That event on the 26th and 27th of August, before trips to Germany and Belgium to round out the 2023 season. Anthems. Take 2 on the national anthem. So then the national anthems have been performed there. Must be an immense effort in this heat to hit those high notes. There is Paul Dufresne looking to end his weekend on yet another high. I think he was rather dejected after the EuroNASCAR 2 race to an extent. He was happy to get his first win in EuroNASCAR, but it wasn't really the circumstances he would have liked. Of course, that race largely run under safety car and full course yellow because of all the various incidents. But now an opportunity to win again. An opportunity from pole position. I have to assume, and it is an assumption, that he is the first to be a EuroNASCAR 2 winner and a EuroNASCAR Pro pole sitter in the same day. If he can take both wins in the same day at his first attempt, that would be amazing. A EuroNASCAR 2 inaugural win, followed by a maiden win in EuroNASCAR Pro, all within the space of a few hours. Unprecedented and incredible if he can do it, but he's got a lot of competition, not least of which this man, Vittorio Garelli, who sits fourth in the championship, has had mixed fortunes so far. He had a technical issue, of course, at Brands Hatch that dropped him down the order. I think he would be potentially third in the championship if things had gone a little smoother for him, if not second. Let's see if he can perhaps move himself into the championship top three today. Certainly Lasser and Kumpen are both further down the order, and those are the two drivers between himself and Gianmarco Ercoli, so it is certainly a possibility. He would love to take a race win at the circuit where he passed his racing license. He revealed that to Andre in the build to yesterday's race. This is the circuit where Vittorio Garelli gained his racing license. Mentioned that Anthony Kumpen starting a little further down. He's in 9th on the grid, so still in the top 10. Lucas Lasser in 5th position. He has the inside line, of course, as well, as we go into the 2x2 rolling start. So that could prove beneficial for him. Inside the slightly less risky place to be, although typically it's the outside of the front row that seems to get more momentum through the fearsome turn 2 Curva Grande. That really is the pinch point on the lap on the first lap, turn 2 Curva Grande, very quick corner. And is taken just about flat if you're brave, but it's much more difficult when you're in 2x2 formation, that much is for certain. The fans have indeed stationed themselves on the grandstand now. And in good time, because in just over 90 seconds we will hear the start command. The Grand Marshal Andrea Turco a guest of the title sponsor, the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. So Andrea Turco of Whelen going to give us the start command. There's the number 14 of Ulysse Delso. Just over 60 seconds before the command is given. We'll go down there shortly to see the famous words uttered, the most famous words in motorsport. Aside from maybe track limits penalty if you're in Red Bull Ring, if you know, you know. 45 seconds then until the engines fire, and from there it will be very quickly on to the formation lap. Lucas Lasser, all focus now. All Nomexed up now as well. Earlier on he looked like he was in his beaches on the coast of South France, but now he's in his racing digs. I believe we can go down now to the start command, which is due in just a few seconds.
Drivers, start your engines.
Okay then, so the engines are fired. There are a few gaps on the grid, but the thunder is still vast as these cars get ready to go racing. It's going to be 18 laps of competition here in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. We have a few missing drivers. Sebastian Bleekemolen, Advait Diodard, Neo Lambert and Elina Leubnegger are all not taking the start, but over 20 cars will still be there on the grid. All of our title contenders are there, present and correct and ready for racing action. As these cars get off the line, we will start to read you the grid once they are moving. As we've mentioned, it is Dufro starting from pole position in his RDV competition Ford Mustang. Great to see the RDV number 3 back up there at the sharp end in EuroNASCAR Pro. Paul Giffro leads them away then in just his second race in EuroNASCAR Pro. It is Paul Giffro who will be starting this race from the pole position. He'll be on the inside of the front row on the run down to the first corner. Joined on that front row, of course, by Vittorio Garelli. Cars make their way through Curva Grande then on the formation lap. We will grid up into 2x2 formation. Paul Giffro, our pole sitter, Vittorio Garelli will start on the outside of the front row. Jimmy Jett, Gianmarco Ercoli will start from third position in the number 54 car. Liam Hasemans starting fourth position in the number 50 car for Hendricks Motorsport. He's looking to secure another podium at a bare minimum. Lucas Lasser in the number 64, he lines up fifth. Ulysse Delso in sixth position, and all Speedhouse third row of the grid. Vladimiros Tsiotsis in the number 5 Academy car, he lines up eighth alongside Mark Goossens, Anthony Kumpen and Tobias Downhauer round out our top 10. Thomas Pontonen in the 48 car, he could make some progress from 11th on the grid for sure. Martin Dubeck in 12th place. Sebastian Bleekemolen not there on row 7. Dario Casso is going to be alone on row 7. Giorgio Maggi will be on his own on row 8 in the 18 car, as Neo Lambert is not taking the start. Believe we should have Fabrizio Armetta in the 55 car. He'll be lining up alongside Thomas Chrysonis in the 46. Just keeping an eye for our Meta. Yes, he is there. That's good. Balistreri in the 38 car. He is there to take the start. Quite a few cars missing, though. I think the 88 is not there. Advait Yodar certainly isn't. But everyone at the sharp end of the grid is present and correct for what will be 18 laps of racing around the Vallelunga circuit. 4 kilometers of circuit, almost 4.1, 14 corners, some of them very, very exciting potential overtaking opportunities for our drivers. In race 1 of the weekend, it was Gianmarco Ercoli who took the spoils on a day where it was all Italian victors in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. The Frenchman, Paul Giffreau, took the win in EuroNASCAR 2. Can he repeat the feat of his first ever victory twice in the same day? He scored his inaugural EuroNASCAR 2 win earlier today. He's going to try and do the same thing again in EuroNASCAR Pro. The race begins, and it is Paul Giffreau who goes to the middle. That could be dangerous because Jimmy Ercoli has the inside line heading into the first corner, first proper corner, Curva Grande, and I think Giffreau has been squeezed out. Yes, he has. It's the number 72 that leads the way. Vittorio Garelli is your race leader then as they go through the first sequence of corners for the first time. Gianmarco Ercoli is in second place. Third and fourth, off the circuit there, has gone one of the Speedhouse cars. That was Lucas Lasser. He's pushed Liam Hazemans out. Everyone checks up, and thankfully everyone stays clean. But Lasser went rally crossing, and Liam Hazemans has dropped well out of the top 10. That is a huge disappointment for the Dutchman. Was just caught out as everyone spread to avoid Lucas Lasser. Some contact there as well. Anthony Kumpen, I think, involved in a little bit of a collision. The 88 of Lanza has taken the start, so that's good news. He is there. Oh, and Hazemans again off the circuit. Liam Hazemans having no luck at all on this first lap, falling through the order at a rate of knots. Side by side between Dubek and Dauenhauer. Dauenhauer with Giorgio Maggi on his inside there. 2 drivers in the junior trophy. Dauenhauer, contact there, goodness me. Oh, that was our Meta into the back of the number 8 car, Dario Casso, and you saw Dario's roof almost fly off the thing. Here's the battle for the lead. The 2 Italians at the front of the order. Vittorio Garelli leads the way then. Paul Giffreau's back into 3rd place after briefly falling to 4th. Lucas Lasser was momentarily in 3rd before he went off track. The top 2, as it was yesterday, Vittorio Garelli and Gianmarco Ercoli, but the positions have swapped. It's Garelli that leads the way, once again using the momentum from the outside. To claim the early race lead. So then everybody, I think, has continued on through that first lap, although Dario Casso has something I've not seen in a while, a loose roof. Anthony Kumpen profited massively on that first lap. He's all the way up in 6th position. He's just behind Vladimiros Siortsis in 5th. Lasser is in front of him in 4th position. Ulis Delso in 7th. He's managed to just about retain his positions, where a lot of drivers elsewhere have fallen back. Look at Liam Hazemans on your graphic, though. 14th place at the start of the lap. A huge disappointment. There's some bodywork down there at the S's, but that's off the racing line. They're not usually 2-3 wide through there, so I think that should be okay. Car number 55 is receiving a drive-through penalty for causing a collision. That is Fabrizio Armetta. Armetta receiving a drive-through. I think that's for the collision with Dario Casso, who's currently experiencing a restyling of his number 8 Chevrolet Camaro as the parts fall off the car. Hopefully that doesn't detach in the middle of the circuit. Jimmy Ercole right on the back of Vittorio Garelli. Understand that Riccardo Romagnoli and Thomas Tuffel have both not taken the start of this race. Two more drivers that were involved in the incident in EuroNASCAR 2 earlier. That's no surprise. It's lap 3 of the race here. And already a drive-through penalty, already some drama. Your top 3 have broken away from the chasing pack. It was a 2-car scrap for the lead, but to Paul Giffro's credit, he has bounced back very quickly indeed. Lucas Lasser is there in 4th place. In 5th, it's Vladimir Ostiortsis. They'll complete the 3rd lap at the end of, or as they go past the start-finish line this time. There's the drive-through penalty confirmation. The car number 55, Fabrizio Armetta, is going to have to drive through the pit lane. They'll complete lap number 3 this time and go on to lap 4. Vittorio Garelli, your race leader, but he's under a lot of pressure from Gianmarco Ercole. Paul Giffro right there with them in 3rd place, 0.8 per second, covering the top 3, and it's gone from bad to worse for Liam Hasemans. That's a huge shame for Hendricks Motorsport. The number 50 car slow in the final sector. Oh, Paul Giffro, he goes rally crossing, manages to keep the car in the right direction. Stefano Attianesi in the number 27 also not taking the start of this race, so Double V Racing once again with the disappointment. Of course, Patrick Schauber couldn't race in Sunday at Brands Hatch. So we are down on numbers a little bit, and unfortunately Liam Hasemans added to the bench, added to the retirement list just a few laps into the race. Just as at Brands Hatch, Hasemans has a disappointment. Bouncing back with the podium yesterday. Hopefully over the summer break he can regroup and focus on fighting for that junior trophy. Top 3. 2 seconds clear of Lasser in 4th position. Lasser under pressure from Vladimir Ostiortsis, as you can see. Ostiortsis trying to find his way through into 4th position. Gianmarco Ercole shadowing Vittorio Garelli every inch of the way as Dario Casso's car, or at least part of his car, heads back out onto the circuit. Looking to net some points. As it stands, I think he would finish 20th if he just continues circulating, so it does make sense to keep pushing. Vittorio Garelli, our race leader, here at the Autodromo Vallelunga, a circuit I think he considers to be one of, if not his, home track. It's certainly his home race on the EuroNASCAR calendar, the NASCAR GP of Italy, but that also applies to the man behind him, Gianmarco Ercole, who yesterday, in front of his adoring fans, local to his home in Rome, took that stunning victory, much to the delight of the gathered masses. Paul Giffro, though, in 3rd position. He has the opportunity to create a narrative anew on this day after his first ever EuroNASCAR 2 win earlier this morning. Could he take his first EuroNASCAR Pro win on the same day? As it stands, he leads the junior trophy element of this race. They're in 3rd position. His closest competition, Vladimir Ostiortsis, still stuck behind Lucas Lasser for the time being. Lasser consistently lapping there in 4th place. making life difficult for Siortsis, who's not quite gotten close enough to make a move yet in that battle for P4. The same applies to this battle for the lead as well. And lap 6 of the race. And at the 1/3 distance, Vittorio Garelli is your race leader. And Fabrizio Armetta is in the gravel. Trying to work out where that is on the circuit. Might have been turn 10 potentially. But very close to the racing surface by the looks of it. And it looks as if we may have gone to full course yellow. The car's slow. Let's see if we can spot Armetta in the 55, who has come to a halt. Yeah, turn 10 by the looks of it. I think he's just to the right of picture. Full course yellow conditions for the first time in this race. We'll give the marshals the opportunity to free Fabrizio Armetta from the gravel, and also give them the opportunity to collect some of the bodywork strewn around the circuit. Dario Casso's car still in the pit lane, or returning to the pit lane. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Liam Hasemans is still running out there on circuit after he was slow earlier on. So if we go to a safety car, which we often do after a full course yellow, then that could really work out in his favour. Black flag for Dario Casso, hence he's back in the pit lane. And the ruling in the channel suggests black flag for causing intentional collision. So Dario Casso has been disqualified from the race. The same fate befell the other Vict Motorsport car, the number 9, in the EuroNASCAR 2 race. Now let's see. Keep an eye on the number 8 car just in the centre of screen. He went to try and defend against Fabrizio Armetta. Now, Armetta got a drive-through penalty for this incident, as we know. So I'm wondering if Dario Casso is the reason that Armetta is in the gravel. I don't think as we've gone back to green flag conditions, I don't think that incident is why the disqualification happened. I reckon Dario Casso may have been part of the reason why Fabrizio Armetta was in the gravel there. He went back out onto the circuit, of course, and then came back in, and I just wonder if there was some retaliation at play. Vittorio Garelli leading the way, and into second has gone Paul Giffroy. But Paul Giffroy has moved up to P2. I think he might have done that at the hairpin while I was scrabbling with my notes. It's side by side between the two. Armetta, or rather I should say Giffroy and Ercole. Ercole on the inside in the 54. Has retaken that second place, hopping over the curb and the grass. It is lap 8 of this race. And after briefly gaining second place, Giffroy has been dispatched again by Ercole. And look who's gotten up into fourth place, Anthony Kumpen. Kumpen in fourth position is ahead of Lucas Lasser. I think he may have been quicker on the restart when we went back to green. Meanwhile, you see there Liam Hasemans is still running, but unfortunately he's a lap down. So even if there was a safety car, you wouldn't get that much advantage out of it. Of course, we're not going to go to a safety car now because the incident was cleared under full course yellow. But good to see that Hasemans is at least still running after his issue. Running all the way down, though, in 19th place. He would want to be involved with this battle at a bare minimum. This is the scrap for 4th place going on in front of him, of course. Anthony Kumpen in the number 24 PK Car Sport, the very Belgian entry. Closing in seemingly on Dufresne as well, who has seemingly lost a little bit of momentum since getting overtaken by Gianmarco Ercoli here at turn 2. He's fallen back about 1.4 seconds. Kumpen with no such luxuries. Lucas Lasserre staying right on his bumper, and Lasserre much deeper into the braking at turn 4. Lap 9. So half distance in the race. And Anthony Kumpen leaving the inside open. Lucas Lasserre thought about it. Wasn't quite close enough for a move. He does seem to have a little bit of pace over Anthony Kumpen. Of course, these two, 2nd and 3rd in the championship as it stands behind Gianmarco Ercoli. So a championship battle as well as a battle in the race playing out in real time here. Kumpen 10 points back from Lasserre in the title fight. It's 40 points for a win, 35 for 2nd, and then it goes down by 1. So not massive gains in the championship points here, but they're fighting for pride as well. Oh, and Kumpen turns in on Lucas Lasserre. Lasserre left his nose there. He thought he was entitled to the inside. They met in the middle, and Anthony Kumpen retains 4th position. But this battle is only going to get more physical if things keep up as they are. Lucas Lasserre, as they cross the line to start lap 10. See the gravel being kicked up as well from ahead of them. Everyone pushing hard here in this final race of the day. Ortsis watching on from 6th place as well. He's got Hasemans between himself and the battle for 4th position, of course, as Lucas Lasserre looks to the outside line going into turn 7. Now towards turn 8, and let's see if Lasserre goes to the inside. He does. A big lunge to the inside, and does he get it stopped? Not quite, but he's still a nose ahead. No, bouncing over the sausage curbs isn't going to help him. Anthony Kumpen with the better drive out of the corner retakes 4th place after losing it for just a heartbeat. Lasserre making no bones about his intentions here. And even though Paul Dufresne isn't on pace with the top 2, because 4th and 5th are fighting so hard, he's only extending his advantage in 3rd position. So Kumpen and Lasserre, if they realise it or not, they may be costing themselves a shot at a podium by not working together here. They are some of the most experienced racers on the grid, but even they can get caught up in the red mist in the heat of battle. Poor Liam Hasemans, he loves a fight for a position, but unfortunately he's a lap down on these two ahead of him in the number 50 car. He may have to give way to Vladimiros Tiortsis as well. Here comes Lasserre. Thought he was having a look to the inside, but didn't make a lunge. He may have a go though once again at turn 7 and turn 8. He's got a good run through 6. Down the back straight, goes to the outside line once again, but may cut inside. No, just goes deeper on the braking into 7. carries a little bit more speed, gets a good run out of the corner. Very nice driving from Lucas Leclerc. Anthony Kumpen surprisingly doesn't cover the inside, and Leclerc dives again to the 4th position, and this time he gets the car stopped. So it's 4th place now for Lucas Leclerc. 5 seconds back now, as near as makes no difference, from Paul Giffreau in 3rd, but finally Lucas Leclerc gets by. It's looked like Kumpen just kind of let him go to an extent there. I think he's realised he's costing himself time, drifting wide there as well. Vladimiros Tsiotsis on a mission to try and find a way past him. Giorgio Maggi in 9th place with Tuomas Pontonen behind him. These two fighting not just for the overall 9th position, but also a solid place within Junior Trophy. Mark Goossens just ahead of them in 8th place. Tobias Downhauer in P11, he was locking up the brakes there. Vladimiros Tsiotsis may have the pace advantage here over Anthony Kumpen. Don't know whether Kumpen's tyres are maybe starting to let go underneath him or something of that nature, but it doesn't look like the pace is with the 24 car right now. Kumpen making his first full season return to international motorsport after a bit of a break. He has been consistent so far this year, but hasn't really made many headlines along the way. Tsiotsis, a little bit of a look to the inside. Let's see if he can get a good run out of 7. He does square up the corner nicely where Kumpen drifts wide. Tsiotsis makes his intentions perfectly clear to the inside line. We're looking at the car that's a lap down, but we go to Tsiotsis now, and he's there side by side with Anthony Kumpen. And Kumpen quite obviously lifted out of the throttle there, allowing Vladimiros Tsiotsis through into 5th position. I think Anthony Kumpen's definitely struggling with something here. Next car behind him, Liam Hasemans, is a lap down, of course, but in general, Anthony Kumpen just not showing the pace that we'd expect from him. Your order as we head towards the conclusion of lap 12 onto lap 13 is Vittorio Garelli in the race lead, Gianmarco Ercoli in P2, just 1.6 seconds off your leader. Paul Giffreau in 3rd position, Lucas Leclerc in 4th, Anthony Kumpen in 5th, behind Vladimiros Tsiotsis, who overtook him on that lap. Then in 7th place, it's Ulysse Delso. 8th place for Mark Goossens, 9th, or rather no, Goossens. Yes, Goossens in 8th place. Tuomas Pontonen in 9th, and Tobias Downhauer rounding out the overall top 10 as Liam Hasemans slows down there. I think letting Ulysse Delso go there, because Hasemans, of course, not fighting for a position. He is a lap down. So Ulysse Delso in the 14 car. It says 64 on the graphic, but he is the number 14 Speedhouse entry. He runs in 7th place. And take the car with the pink number towards 6th if he possibly can, because Anthony Kumpen definitely struggling a little bit on speed. Vittorio Garelli absolutely not struggling when it comes to speed at the moment. He's going on to lap 14 of this race with a solid advantage over Gianmarco Ercoli. A tale of two very different racing drivers in this battle for 8th place. The hugely experienced Mark Goossens versus the much younger Tuomas Pontonen. On to lap 14 they will go this time. We see Tuomas Pontonen in the number 48 Marco Schdipp Motorsport car for the first time, really haranguing the rear of Mark Goossens. Goosens in the pop-art liveried number 56 car from Cal Racing. Still in the championship top 5 coming into this race. I think he should remain in that top 5 after this one. Came into today 5th in the championship, 4 points clear of Ulysse Delso in 6th. And Delso just ahead of him in the overall standings right now, so he wouldn't lose out too much to the junior trophy points leader. Delso, as it stands, would extend his junior lead, I think. Saw a car behind the barriers there. I think that's Giorgio Maggi's car. Giorgio Maggi has come to a halt, dropped to the back of the order in 18th position, which only continues the issues for him and the number 18 crew. They've had no luck at all this year. Maggi well out of the overall top 10 in the point standings now. Came into this season with intentions of trying to fight for overall title glory, and that's just not happened for him. It's going to be a long road to that, any chance of that now. Double points, of course, the season finale at Zolder, but even then it's going to be extremely difficult, nigh on impossible. With another retirement, you've got to look at the car behind the barrier. I'm sure that he and Claudio Remigio Capelli will both feel a little bit short-changed after this weekend with their performances from the 18 car. Meanwhile, Anthony Kumpen still holding 6th overall at the moment, but Ulysse Delso getting closer. Has a little look to the inside line. Carries a lot more speed through the mid phase of the corner. I think Kumpen might be struggling with tyre deg more than anything, because it seems like corner speed is where he's suffering. Delso puts a nose to the inside but can't quite get through yet. Well, he maybe have a go here in the final section, the complex at the end of the lap. Blast the throttle only briefly out of 10 into the hairpin at 11, where Delso was definitely sizing up a move to the inside. It wasn't quite close enough, and there wasn't quite enough room for him. Delso looking a lot tidier through the S's as well. Then further back we see the battle between Goosens and Pontonen as well. Pontonen yet to find a way past the Goose, the serial GT race winner throughout the 90s into the 2000s and into the 2010s. Of course, raced last year for Speedhouse in the EuroNASCAR series. Moving over to Cal Racing this season. And much like Lucas Lasserre and Anthony Kumpen, Mark Goosens is in the championship top 5, not because of outstanding race-winning performances, but because of sheer consistency. 8th place isn't the position he wants to be fighting for, of course, but continuing to register top 10 finishes is going to go a long way by the end of the season. Pontonen followed by Downhauer as well. Tobias Downhauer in the Promotion 99 car, the team that debuted at Brands Hatch. They might want to get involved in this as well. Goosens runs it wide going through turn 8. A little bit of leading on each other there. That sends Goosens onto the curbs. Nose ahead, a car ahead for Pontonen. Goosens had the inside line, but it's going to be Pontonen that takes the position there. A little slip up from Goosens was all it took, and Downhauer tags the rear of Mark Goosens. Both drivers continue on their way. Oh, a big moment there for Thomas Pontonen, just hopping the curb. It was a bit too tight on turn-in. Ended up flying over the sausage curb. They start lap 17 of the race this time by. And Goosens has been demoted to P9. He won't want to fall back any further than that, but Tobias Downhauer is looking for a way. Vittorio Garelli, meanwhile, still controlling the race. Gianmarco Ercoli hasn't given up on this one. He's still right there with him. Neither party particularly has to worry about Paul Giuffreau in third place. He's 5 seconds back from this battle. It would take a Herculean effort from Jimmy Ercoli to take his 4th win in as many races. Either a Herculean effort or a mistake from Garelli. It certainly looks like Ercoli is closing in, though. I do wonder if maybe Ercoli has slightly fresher tyres. The fact that he only qualified 3rd for this race suggests that he was maybe being a bit more careful than others out front in yesterday's race. Has he got a little more Huger rubber underneath him now? We've seen evidence before of what tyre preservation can do. Remember Liam Hazeman's first victory in EuroNASCAR 2 in overtime. Just seemed to drive around everybody with much fresher rubber at the end of the race. Can Garelli hold on? Can Ercoli find a little bit extra in the final lap? The gap was just over 3/4 of a second, or just under 3/4 of a second as they began this final lap. It's clear that Ercoli is still pushing. I'm not sure he's going to get close enough. Vittorio Garelli hasn't put a foot wrong in the Blake-Molen number 72 car, carrying the hopes of Sebastian Blake-Molen in the cockpit, of course. You heard it in the pre-race. Seb Blake-Molen's number 69 car wasn't able to take the start, damage to the car after a collision in EuroNASCAR 2. Vittorio Garelli accelerates out of turn 8, just a few corners between himself and a victory here at the Autodromo Vallelunga, the circuit where he got his racing license, the circuit that he calls home on the EuroNASCAR calendar. Turn 11 is next, the tight hairpin. Ercoli has half a look to the inside. I don't think he's given up yet, but I think time has ticked too far away from the driver of the number 54. Around the final corner comes the number 72 car. Vittorio Garelli comes around the Roma bend, turn 14 for the final time, and he takes a lights to flag victory. Near as makes no difference. He led from turn 2 onwards. A great success for Vittorio Garelli. Ercoli takes 2nd, Paul Giuffreau in 3rd. Lucas Lasser holds on despite the advances of Vladimir Osiortsis, who rounds out the top 5 in the number 5. And Tobias Downhauer, try as he might, is going to have to settle for 10th place. He's been on the back of Mark Goosens for the last couple of laps, but Goosens is going to hold on to 9th. Downhauer taking 10th position. Ahead of them, Anthony Kumpen in 6th place. Ulysse Delso takes 7th, and Thomas Pontonen taking 8th position. Martin Dubeck in 11th place. Crosonis should cross the line in P12, ahead of Max Lanza in 13th place. Loretti in the number 9 car should finish 14th, ahead of Pangiotis in the number 4. We've already had the 16th place finisher across the line. Liam Hazeman's a lap down. Vittorio Garelli takes a victory here in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. A great result for Team Blake-Molen and the home fans, who will love to hear the Italian national anthem once again. Garelli was just 33 points off the championship lead. That should go down to 28. It'll bring him potentially past Anthony Kumpen as well in the points. So Garelli should be 3rd in the championship, heading into Most, carrying good momentum for he and Team Blake-Molen. Regarding the different trophies, it should be Paul Giuffreau, the winner in Junior Trophy, as well as claiming his 2nd overall podium in EuroNASCAR Pro in as many days. And the Legend Trophy, or rather, sorry, the Challenger Trophy, I believe, I'm actually not sure who that would go to. The timing screen providing limited information on that front. I think potentially not many Challenger Trophy drivers even finished the race. Chrysonis, I think, may well be the winner in Challenger Trophy, but that will be confirmed in due course. Certainly a race of attrition, just 16 cars crossing the line under their own power. We lost the uber modern 75 car, I think, towards the end of the race as well. Giorgio Maggi, of course, he stopped. We saw his car behind a barrier. Let's get a look at the highlights of this race then. At the start, it was Paul Giffreau with pole position, but he didn't get the best getaway. Gianmarco Ercoli and Vittorio Garelli crowded him out as they approached Curva Grande, and it was Garelli who swept through into the race lead, with Ercoli following him into second place. First lap drama as Armetta and Dario Casso collide. Armetta got a drive-through penalty for that collision. Curiously, Armetta would end up in the gravel trap later on, and Dario Casso would get a black flag for intentional contact. Meanwhile, down in the pit lane, we see the 72 car in victory lane. Vittorio Garelli is there in the 72 cockpit, and he's about to get himself out of what I'm sure is a V8 powered sauna at the moment. Garelli exits the car and takes in the plaudits from the Italian fans. Victory for Vittorio here at the Vallelunga circuit. The American Festival of Rome sees 3 Italian winners in 4 races in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Only Paul Giffreau managed to stop the clean sweep of Italian victories here this weekend at Vallelunga. Garelli getting a win on the board for he and Team Blake-Molen. That will do wonders for his confidence as the season wears on. I'm sure Sebastian Blake-Molen will be down there to give him a handshake. Of course, Sebastian Blake-Molen said, well, he'd better dedicate the win to me if he wins, because I can't take the start. So let's hope Vittorio Garelli remembers to do that during his interview with Andre. Garelli receiving his plaudits, receiving his flowers here, and he will go up to the top step of the podium to his top to receive his trophy for a victory. Of course, he'll also get the sticker in a few moments' time as well to place on the side of his car, which I'm sure will be an exciting moment for Vittorio, who's always cool, calm and collected. But I think we'll see a few emotions out of him after a victory here today. A key step in establishing himself as a title contender. The first 3 events really are where the title contenders are established. The final 3 events are where the title is won. And I think it's fair to say that Vittorio Garelli is a contender. He will be 3rd in the standings, I believe, after this race. And he'll be knocking on the door of the likes of Ercoli and Lucas Lasser. Lasser, who once again shows his unbridled consistency from 4th, finishing 4th once again. Lasser, who started on the 3rd row. Vittorio Garelli is down there, though, with Andre Vigod. Let's hear from our race winner.
Thank you so much, Adam. Finally, Vittorio Garelli. You said maybe in the second half of the season. It came a little bit earlier than we thought, right?
Yeah, it was a fantastic race. I managed to pass in P1 in the outside of turn 2, which is a bit on the limit, on the edge. But then I kept the pace. I controlled the 54. It was very fast. But yeah, big thanks to my sponsor for the sport, to my family, my fans who all came to join me, and big thank you to Blake-Molen family for the supercar they gave me, and this one is for the team, for sure.
Very important. I have an advice for you. Sebastian Blake-Molen said to me, I'm not racing, so he wants you to dedicate the win to him.
Exactly, it's for him. He couldn't race because in NASCAR 2 there was a big crash in the 69, but yeah, he's giving me a fantastic car throughout all the season. We're doing a very good job, and it was always very close, but finally we took it. I think it was fully deserved. I had a very, very good pace, and the last few laps I was just controlling the tires, you know, not to make any mistakes, and yeah, we can enjoy with some friends, and let's keep it up.
Now it's time to decorate the car a little bit better. Just follow me for a second. I opened the box, and there's a very nice winner sticker. You can show it to the camera for a shot. And now you just place it over here. Turn around, turn around. No, go around. You can. Okay.
I have sweaty hands.
Ah, there it goes. There it goes. For the first time in the 2023 season, Vittorio Gurelli with the winner sticker. Back to you, Adam.
You can tell which drivers used to decorate their own pencil cases at school and which ones didn't, can't you? Those with the sticker experience and those with the lack of sticker experience. Vittorio Gurelli puts his sticker on the car for the first time and makes his mark on victory lane for the first time this season. You can see how warm he is and definitely needing that cool water over his head at the moment. A dramatic race where only 16 cars took the flag. The one that took it first was Vittorio Gurelli, much to the delight of Team Blake-Molen. Gianmarco Ercoli will be happy enough with second place. His run of 3 victories, 2 at Brands Hatch and 1 yesterday here at Vallelunga, has come to an end, but his championship lead will extend nonetheless. Lucas Lasset, his closest championship rival, finishing 4th place, so Ercoli will gain another 2 points in the championship fight. But of course the likes of Vittorio Gurelli bringing themselves closer to contention will certainly be something that Jimmy Ercoli keeps his eye on going into our next round at Moston for the remainder of the season. Paul Giffreau will also be elated, and we're down with him now, so let's go to Andre Viegold.
Ben, we're talking a lot this weekend, right?
Yeah, a lot. If it can remain like that all the weekend, I will be happy.
What do you think about your EuroNASCAR Pro debut? It was fantastic, right?
Yeah, but today I took a real lesson by Gurelli, Ercoli. They were so fast. So yeah, I have to improve. They were really fast. So yeah, it's a touch bit my ego, you know, because I wanted to be fast. But yeah, it's important for me to exit better.
All right, merci beaucoup. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Back to Adam.
There you go, the drivers always thinking they could do better. But I think once he gets home after this weekend and reflects upon the weekend that was, he'll be a happy man. A lot of success has gone his way this weekend. Well-deserved success as well. And we now catch up with Max Lanza. So let's go down once again to Andre.
The Challenger Trophy winner, Max Lanza. Amazing home race here, at least on Sunday. What do you think?
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. That's crazy. I start for the last position and gained an infinite number of positions. I'm very, very happy because this is my first victory in the Challenger Trophy for this season. After 5 races, very unlucky. This time is very good. I have a fantastic pace. I had a fantastic pace. I made a wonderful race. I'm very happy because the car was wonderful. The team made a work fantastic job. So on the car, on the setup, wonderful, wonderful.
Grazie mille, congratulations. Back to you, Adam.
Grazie.
So Lanza taking 13th overall, but still winning the Challenger Trophy, which will be a delight for him. Really showing how much attrition there was, that so few drivers even saw the flag in Challenger Trophy. Simone Loretti and Yannick Panagiotis will round out that podium. So the 13th, 14th and 15th place finishers in the overall classification. We will head podium way soon, although I'm sure Andre's still trying to catch some drivers, but the podium ceremony will get underway in earnest shortly as we see some more highlights of the race. This was Anthony Kumpen coming under pressure from Lucas Lasserre. A couple of instances of contact between them, of course. This was the biggest one, turning into the S's turn 12. Some great fighting as well between the 48 and the 56. Pontonen taking advantage of Vergussen's mistake at turn 8. Tobias Douwenhauer then gave Mark a little bit of a nudge. Douwenhauer would never get past the Belgian eventually. But of course, the most pleasant sight of all for the home fans, for Team Blake-Molen, the friends and family of Vittorio Girelli, the checkered flag awaiting the 72 car at the end of the race. Lucas Lasserre would finish behind Paul Dufresne. Dufresne taking third, and Lasserre holding off Vladimiros Tsiotsis to take fourth. Tsiotsis rounding out that overall top 5 in the number 5 Academy Alex Caffey car. Great weekend here in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. We've had 4 exciting races, albeit one of them this morning not particularly laden with green flag running, but there was plenty of action. See the fans with their signed pictures from the grid walk. It's very difficult to walk away from a EuroNASCAR weekend empty-handed, because there is a lot of generosity in regards to driver cards, signatures, things of that nature, and of course there's merchandise available as well. Definitely a leading fan experience in European motorsport, the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. And the fans await Vittorio Girelli. Not quite as many as we saw for Alberto Nasca, but of course Alberto Nasca is very much on the motorsport A-list here in Italy. Alberto Nasca in that 54 car shared with Jimmy Erkeli, of course. He will be looking to reinvigorate his trips to Victory Lane when we go to Most next month. Most is a very different circuit from Vallelunga. It also has a few fast corners, but is arguably the most demanding circuit on the calendar, with 21 turns packed into a little over 2.6 miles. And then of course you've got that huge braking zone into turn 1 at Most. I think we can expect lots of action, lots of overtaking when we go to the Czech Republic next month. Sounds like our podium ceremonies are about to begin. And indeed, drivers getting ready to come up. I think maybe we're still looking for a couple of drivers. They can be a challenge to Herd. And taking it into our own hands to go and grab our podium finishers. Oh. And I've been in that position before as the circuit podium MC, trying desperately to spot anyone with a Nomex suit that is owed a trophy. Paul Giffreau will be the first up onto the overall podium, of course. And I believe we may have found everybody we need to find. Here's Paul Giffreau to the third step of the podium. A hugely successful and silverware-laden first weekend in EuroNASCAR Pro. Gianmarco Ercoli, the local hero. The second step of the podium for him. And thankfully for the Italian masses, it is another Italian driver who's taking the top step. Here comes Vittorio Garelli. A happy man is Vittorio as the fans watch on. We'll now hear the national anthem for Italy as Vittorio Garelli basks in his achievement. Notice that the Italian national anthem is always played a little longer here at the Autodromo Vallelunga. Great to see everyone lapping in the success of Vittorio Garelli here. Paul Giffreau receives his third place trophy. Second place trophy will be heading Gianmarco Ercoli's way. His bottle of Guerra family Pano. And it'll be Vittorio Garelli who receives the biggest trophy of all. Congratulations once again to Garelli. That will look good on the mantle, either at home or at the Team Blake & Molan headquarters. I don't know who gets the trophy. Maybe he and Sebastian can arm wrestle for it later on for the EuroNASCAR Instagram feed or something. Great photo opportunity then for our top three. And I would say they've earned a champagne shower, wouldn't you? I'm sure that's coming up in just a few moments. Nice that the trophies are actually gold, silver and bronze. That's a nice touch. A photo with the crowd for our top three. They will now uncork the champagne. Jimmy Ercoli will also receive the Whelen red windscreen banner in a moment, of course, for being the championship leader. Good to see the respect there between he and Vittorio. Oh, but he did lure himself into a shower there. And what a surreal feeling this must be for Paul Giuffreau, who had a solid but unspectacular run in EuroNASCAR 2 last year. Is now a force to be reckoned with in EuroNASCAR 2 and is now proving the same in EuroNASCAR Pro as well. Paul Giuffreau's ascendancy has been very impressive. He's not bad at throwing a hat like a boomerang either. Gianmarco Ercoli, as we mentioned, he will be the leader of the championship. He will have extended his lead in the championship heading into Most. Lucas Lasser still his closest competition, but Vittorio Girelli's momentum is clearly building. Here comes Ercoli to receive his red windscreen banner. He will also receive a TJ titanium ring as the fastest driver of the event. Scored the most points across the 2 races. But he will wear the red Whelen with pride going into Most. Here is the banner card for the TJ Fastest Driver Award. Receives his titanium ring. His second in as many meetings, of course, because he claimed one as the undisputed king of Brands Hatch last month as well at the American Speed Fest. Nice close-up there of the trophy. That's proper, that is, or the ring, I should say. That's proper. That has a whiff of the Indy 500 winners trophy about it, or the winners ring, of course, or maybe a Super Bowl ring for the American Festival of Rome. Very impressive looking thing. Marco Raggi from TJ presenting that to him. The Cal Racing crew will also make their way up to the podium as the best team. A great opportunity for everyone at Cal Racing to join Gianmarco in celebrating the success. Here they come. Always great to see the team joining the celebrations. Some family members as well. Jimmy Jett, a popular man in this part of the world. A man who is having a much better run of fortune this year. You may remember last year here at Vallelunga, he ran over a piece of another car, and that cost him dearly in the then pink number 54. Now, Jimmy Jett is our championship leader and has to go into the second half of the season as an odds-on favourite. Of course, so much of the championship is really determined by that season finale where points are doubled. But for now, Gianmarco Ercoli has to feel like he's starting to put maybe a fingertip or two on the podium where the trophy sits for the EuroNASCAR Championship. He's got a long way to go though, and he won't be counting his chickens before they hatch. We still have the trophy podiums to come. The junior trophy podium will be up next for the drivers up to 25 years old. Ulysse Delso due up there along with Vladimiros Tsiotsis and Paul Giuffreau, who will claim a junior trophy victory here today.
Adesso tocca al Junior Trophy, riservato ai piloti fino a 25 anni di età, dunque
Here come the junior trophy drivers then. Ulis Del So will join the podium in just a few moments. Here he is for Speedhouse, the number 14 car, claiming another victory, or another podium, I should say, in junior trophy. Vladimiros Siortsis taking the second step. I think those two will ultimately be the title rivals to watch in junior trophy. Paul Giffreau, of course, starting the season late. Don't think there's much opportunity for him to take the junior trophy this season. However, he is angling himself very well to not just maybe claim that EuroNASCAR Pro win this season before the end of the year if his pace continues, but of course also focusing on that EuroNASCAR 2 campaign where he is increasingly looking like a favourite. The trophies and the bottles of Guerra Pano being distributed. And I think Paul, as much as he was analytical and maybe even a little critical in his post-race interview with Andre Viegold, I think a little bit of time between this event and him, he will look back at it and go, you know what, that was about as good of a weekend as I could have possibly had. A victory earlier today in EuroNASCAR 2, his first victory in EuroNASCAR 2. Podiums in EuroNASCAR Pro in his first weekend in the category. And plenty of trophies for the mantelpiece as well. Our last podium of the weekend for EuroNASCAR will be the Challenger Trophy podium, where Max Lanza will get the opportunity to stand in front of his home fans. Yannick Panagiotis will be the first up from the number 4 crew. Some silverware for the Panasport team. Of course, Yannick and Olivier Panagiotis sharing the car, the French duo. There is Simone Loretti for Vict Motorsport in the number 9 car. He comes up second, and there is Max Lanza, the winner in Legend Trophy, or sorry, in Challenger Trophy this weekend. Lanza adding a little bit of strength and a few extra points to his campaign to try and secure Challenger Trophy. Riccardo Romagnoli having a very poor weekend could certainly open the floodgates a little bit in Challenger Trophy. These three, the only 3 finishers, I think, in Challenger Trophy, as well as the podium finishers. Such was the level of attrition. There were supposed to be 28 cars. 7 of them didn't take the start because of the collisions and accidents in EuroNASCAR 2. And then we lost another 5 over the course of the race as well. So survival was key today at the Autodromo Vallelunga. Max Lanza doesn't just survive, he takes the Challenger Trophy victory. And with that last podium, we conclude the action here at the Autodromo Vallelunga. The American Festival of Rome has once again attracted fans in droves. We brought the action to Campagnano di Roma on Thursday, and it's been an exciting 3 days at the track ever since then. If you've been tuned in for all 4 EuroNASCAR races this weekend, thank you so much for doing so. The NASCAR Whelen Euro Series will be back in a few weeks' time when we head to the Autodromo Most. That is the 26th and 27th of August. Enjoy the summer break, as I'm sure many of our drivers in the paddock will also. It's been a great race, and we thank you for watching. Tune in next time when we head to Most for the second half of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series season.
When you come to Kvarner, treat yourself to an experience you will remember. Enjoy the luxurious ambience. Experience superior service. Indulge in endless pleasures. The pearl of the tourism offer in the pearl of the Adriatic. Liburnia, Hotels and Villas.